Well, hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of the Summer Spotlight 2020. I am your host, Gayle Nicholson, and I am so happy to see you back again today. Today, we are doing a really interesting conversation with a man who has been immersed in energy work for decades and has developed his own process that he used on me 2 days ago. And I received instantaneous results, and I'm still experiencing those results. So I'm really very excited to bring to you today Mr. Markham Bill Loudon, Grandmaster and founder of Vibrational Matrix of Being. Thank you so much for joining us today, Bill. How you doing?
Good. Thanks, Gail. I'm glad to be here.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, I want to start out with maybe a little bit of your resume because you have got experience in so many aspects of energy work. I want people to have an actual idea from you what it is that you do. So let's start there.
I believe it started with martial arts training, using energy work to shut down meridians, to incapacitate the opponent, and I took it to the other way of using for healing. Because when we were practicing and working on our partner, that we always fix what we hurt, okay,
Nice.
so that they wouldn't go out with problems. So I started using that same process with clients that I was working on. For an example, one of them was a grandmother who was bringing her grandson to class every day who had knee issues. And she said she's been going to the physical therapist for 2 years. And all I did was run some energy and did some acupressure to her, and the knee problem was gone, like in 15 minutes, if that.
Now,
You know,
between you and
it's
me, I don't find that so hard to believe because I've experienced it, right, with you.
correct. Right.
But that's, for somebody to be going to physical therapy for 2 years and then actually have the issue
Relief.
cleared up, relief within 15 minutes with energy work, you know, why is this not more mainstream?
Well, because it's like the same thing with chiropractor. When chiropractic came into, it's like we're like witch doctors. We're the people that were burned at the stake. That type of nobody believes that it's possible that you can actually do something to somebody and not touch them.
Right, right.
And that's where, for me, I find that remote healing works better than anything
Let
because
me,
your body is able to receive 100% of a session instead of just 75, 80, or 85% because of whatever the doctor or the practitioner is doing to.
right. Now, let's talk a little bit about the experience that I had with you a couple of days ago because that's exactly what happened. And one of the questions that I asked you, because what you offered to do for me was acupuncture, which usually includes needles, right? And,
Correct.
um, you know, I wondered aloud with you, how does that work over, over a Zoom call? Because you can't be sticking the pins in me. What
Exactly.
happens? So, how about you take our audience through a little bit of that process that you did with me on Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday or
So
Wednesday.
Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday. So the process starts with, I connect with your energy, or should I say, I recognize where you're vibrating at and where your body is vibrating at. Okay. And then I use a surrogate to put the needles in. Okay. And again, the energy translates or transfers into the surrogate because it's so close to me and it's in my field of energy. And then I ask questions, or I put the needles in where, like you said, you were saying you were having some issues down the right side of your back from your shoulder to your hip,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just ran some energy with my hands, but I also added sound to it. Again, frequency. So this is how it works over distancing, is because I connect with your frequency, where you're vibrating at, and that's where the vibrational matrix of being came from. I 5 years before I even started doing this work, I got the name of the business before I started doing it, which I find very interesting.
So do I.
So it the and the process is because it works so well is when you go to an acupuncturist, for example, they're putting needles in your body, and whether your body likes it or not, it's still a foreign substance. So you receive about 85% of the session, which still is beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When we're doing it remotely, there's nothing going into your body. So all we have to do is clear the path of you being able to receive, so you get 100% of the session. Okay. And the other thing other acupuncturists don't do, I'm the only one that does it, is use these certain frequencies to eliminate the blockage that's creating the pain in the body. And it works very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And then your body,
How do you determine which sounds to use when you're working with somebody?
It's based on the 5-element theory of acupuncture. Each element has its own particular frequency. Okay, and this came about from my martial arts training again. Okay, in martial arts, we use a sharp blast of sound to inflict more pain and to shut down the meridian to incapacitate our opponent, so I don't have to do less. I can do way less. Where it doesn't take blunt force trauma to knock somebody out. It takes that much and you're done. Mm-hmm. Okay, so because of what I was doing in healing, and we're working with the meridians, and then I became the acupuncturist. Mm-hmm. I took the same meridians, the same elements, and I figured, well, let's try this. And I elongated the sounds. Instead of a sharp blast, I elongated them. Mm-hmm. I found that it actually made my job easier because it eliminated the pain. It's the vibration of the sound that's connected with the element of the meridian, and it opens up the pathways, which dissipates the pain.
That's phenomenal stuff.
Or the intensities. I don't like to use the word pain.
I gotcha. Awesome. So you also, in the process of your career over the last few decades doing this kind of work, you've written a number of books.
Yes.
Let's see. The 5 Secrets of the Joy of Touch, Creating the Reality You Desire, Vibrational Touch Acupressure System, Vibrational Touch 2.0, and Vibrational Touch 3.0. Which one was your favorite one to write?
The first one.
The first one? The 5
Secrets of the Joy of Touch.
Awesome. Did you let's see. Tell me about it.
The interesting thing is, and again, it's coming back to the martial arts in the basic beginning, because using the same pressure points. Okay. The pressure point, everybody has the same pressure points. Everybody. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. Okay. You have the same amount. So, and we know that there's, some of the pressure points are affected by a hit or a touch or a rub. So I took the same pressure points that we use in martial arts for destroying the body, and then the same pressure points we use in acupuncture to heal the body. I took those same pressure points and added the touch on how to touch them to create pleasure in the body, to stimulate the body, to have a more, how do I want to put it, orgasmic experience.
Nice. Sounds very sexy.
Oh, it's very detail oriented. There's nothing. I wrote it probably for the guys to give pleasure to their women, because with a guy, if you have, it's like this. You do this, and this, and this is the response you get, and it works every time.
Oh, looks like you just made my birthday shopping for Bill real easy. Awesome stuff. Now,
and now I'm in the process of writing another book called Change Your Beliefs, Change Your Life.
I love it. Now, that seems pretty straightforward, right? But what kind of beliefs are you working on with that book?
All beliefs. And use an example of one that came in this morning. Okay, it's the belief that no good deed goes unpunished.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell? I mean, sometimes when I hear something and it kind of, I get this, and I know there's something there that I have to get rid of because it's sticking me someplace in some lifetime. So and by talking with a friend of mine, we were able to, she's just going back and forth, and it's just these things just keep coming in about how the belief of been passed down from generation to generation to generations. Okay, it also keeps us from receiving, which affects everything from sex to money to whatever we're desiring to create. Then on top of it, it's used to control.
Yeah.
So and that's one of the things. So if you don't mind, I'd like to do a clearing around that
I would love it.
for
Please do.
for everybody. So one of the things that I use is I don't know, it's not written down anywhere that you have. I mean, but it's the UDPCs, which stands for the universes, levels, dimensions, and planes of consciousness. That I use the energies to destroy and uncreate everything that the clearing desires to clear. Okay. So what UDPCs can we in our body be to destroy and uncreate the belief of every good deed never goes unpunished, and return it to any lifetime dimension of reality from whence it came, never return to our body reality for all eternity. So be it is done.
Ooh, that felt really good.
Mm-hmm. And then what we'll do is, again, we'll do what UDPCs can we in our body be to receive the knowing of any belief that's not true for us. So be it is done.
Beautiful.
And that's how it works. I mean, you sense it right away. And I'm very grateful for the things that I've done as far as, the acupuncture, the posturology, the theta healing, the access consciousness, and then, excuse me, working with the three wise men, pulled it all together and created a vibrational touch.
Now, tell me a little bit about specifically the vibrational touch process and how it's different than what you normally run into out there with Reiki and acupressure and that type of things that are a little more known.
So you've had Reiki, correct?
I've had, in fact, I'm a Reiki master.
And you work on one particular area at a time, correct?
Yes.
Okay, this is where, and the reason why I believe this works better than anything else is because we're not just using one modality. Mm-hmm. I'm using 3 and 4 all at the same time. Okay. Excuse me, creating that instantaneously healing, or if it's not instantaneous, you get relief and your body continues to release it for days to come. With every sleep cycle you do, or REM cycle, your body creates it, releases more, and brings everything back into balance and alignment. So, excuse me, I ate a drink.
No worries.
So we're talking about one, balance in the chakras, using sound, which most people don't do. Using the energies of the body, using the meridians of the body and acupressure points along with clearings to dissipate and release things that have come in from previous lifetimes, the magnetic encoding and electrical imprinting of those lifetimes, which are creating the blockages from keeping us from succeeding or choosing what we desire to create. It's a very interesting session. And I prefer to do it remotely, because if you come to me and do it, you're not going anywhere for a good 4 hours. It'll probably take an hour and a half to 2 hours to do the session. I'm not allowing you to drive for at least 2 hours afterwards, because it just creates that spaciness or wonkiness in your system that you're not used to. And then we go from the regular vibrational touch to we go to 2.0, which is, excuse me, entire body, using different points in the body, going down from the head to the spine all the way down to the feet, releasing trauma and drama and that type of anything keeping you from stepping forward. Then the 3.0 is about releasing the memories that you have from any lifetime dimension reality that are creating the issues or keeping you from choosing what you desire to choose.
Interesting stuff. I know that I've experienced it myself, but it for the mainstream, I imagine that it's kind of hard to believe that we can be reacting in this lifetime to things that, have happened to us lifetimes ago, or trauma that's been handed down through the generations. Now, interestingly enough, science is actually starting to prove that through the DNA, through that coding that determines our frequency, determines so much of what we are capable in life,
Mm-hmm.
that trauma is encoded in that DNA and actually does pass
And,
down to us and can affect our life in this lifetime.
and that's the magnetic encoding and electrical imprinting from those lifetimes. Whether it's trauma and drama, whether it's poverty, whether it's being a slave, doesn't really matter.
Right. It's
It
stuff,
all comes forward.
and it
And
can be cleared.
oh, absolutely. And that's why I go back to all those lifetime dimension realities to clear it. So we go back to where it first started and clear it all the way forward so it doesn't affect you going into the future.
Nice. Now,
It
I know.
eliminates it.
Oh, sorry, go right ahead.
It eliminates it in the present and the future. Let's put it that way.
I like that. Now, I know what I experienced with you on Tuesday, and that was just simply, a little bit of remote acupuncture with sound vibration. That's
Correct.
separate and totally different than if I were to do a full vibrational touch session,
Yes,
correct?
it's just this. It's working on specific pains in the body, so that you can relax and get your body back into alignment, so that you can move forward. After that, I would recommend a vibrational touch session.
Now,
Okay.
for those who are doing a vibrational touch session, what can they expect to experience? Or what can I expect to experience if we do this in the future?
Uh, a little bit of more than probably 10 times more than what you experienced, especially with just the clearing that I just did earlier. It's using again, going into your own. Everybody's different, so everybody's going to have different issues from the past. I think one of the things that I've run across in doing these sessions, that everybody that I've come across has had issues receiving, regardless of what it is. And that comes into it's better to give than receive. It's been passed on from eons and eons and eons, from parents to parents to, oh, it's just sick.
Would you be so generous as to clear that for us too?
So what UDBCs can you and your body be to destroy and create all the lifetimes that it's better to give than receive? So be it is done. And then what UDPCs can we and our body be to receive the knowing that it's, what is it? The knowing of it's okay to receive. You ask and you shall receive. So be it is done. There it is. You ask and you shall receive. So be it is done.
Beautiful. That very, very lightening, not lightning.
One of the most important things I believe is that, when I work with somebody, there are two things going on. One, your mind and your brain. Okay. Your mind keeps you looping and looping and looping, stuck where you're at in this, I call it the merry-go-mind, that keeps you stuck in the merry-go-round of this reality, never changing. And one of the hardest things for most people who, well, if they've never done any work before, is to give their mind a job to do so we can tap into the brain, where the brain is where we can tap into the knowing of the universe and can receive anything.
Yeah.
And clear anything. The mantra of vibrational matrix of being is where the impossible is possible.
Right. So how many impossible things have you seen occur right in front of your eyes when you're working with your clients?
Thousands. I saw a young boy eyes go from foggy to clear because I released demons and entities in his system.
Interesting. Can you say more about that? Demons and entities? How do you even know that you have them in your system?
I believe demons and entities run all emotions. Because when you're emotional, you're all you do is react to everything. It's like having a live wire stuck up your butt and you just react. Okay. When we eliminate the demons and entities, you're able to just calmly deal with everything that's happening, and there's no reaction to anything. Okay. One of the things that, for my, I have a couple of different programs. One of them is the Journey to Freedom, which is for the holistic way to become smoke-free.
Nice.
And then there's Journey to Freedom 2, which is how to become alcohol-free. And it's a process, because you have all these entities, demons in your system creating the addiction in the first place. Mm-hmm. So when you're able to eliminate the demons, which takes the addictions away, it's easier to eliminate the addiction in the first place, which nobody deals with. You talk to an alcoholic, they never say, I want to drink. They always say, we need a drink. For me, that's multiple entities.
Interesting. So when we're talking about things and we find ourselves talking about things in the royal we as opposed to I, individual ownership, that can be a clue that there's more going on in your head than just you.
Correct. Another great way to tell is the people who are not able to make a decision have multiple entities before they get to them.
Interesting.
I was working with a client a while ago, and she just happened to be a nurse, and she had a terrible time making decisions. And when I got into it, she had like 30,000 entities before we got to her.
Wow.
So when I cleared the entities where I got her where she was number one in the system, making a decision is a snap.
Now, tell me a little bit, can you define entity for me? Because I know that a lot of people think of an entity like a ghost, like disembodied spirit of somebody who lived before, or a demon, or something like that has a personification. Having talked to some of the friends that I have that are into some of the same type of trainings that you've been through, entities aren't necessarily disembodied beings. For example, we all have a biome, or like in our digestive tract, we have bacteria that helps us digest things. Those as well are considered entities.
Right, just like a book is an entity, a song's an entity. Mm-hmm. They have their own energies.
Yeah.
When you're talking about entities that are controlling the body or controlling what you desire to choose, they could be anything. Mm-hmm. They're just in the way.
Right.
And the thing you have to ask is, what are those entities there to stop me from doing? What are they there to stop me from creating? And that's what they do. And why do they do it? That's their job. When you become more conscious, more aware, and I guarantee you, if you're having a problem with awareness, the vibrational touch system will blow the door right off the hinges.
Yes, it will.
that they keep, when you become more aware, more conscious, they're not able to stay here. So they create whatever they can. They will use everything around you to create distractions to stop you. They'll stop technology. They'll, a phone call will crack up, or you'll be in the middle of something and you won't be able to hear somebody. That's because they do not desire you to move forward. They want to keep you locked up and limited, keep you following just like you're following now, and not choosing for you and creating the life you desire.
Now, here, let me ask you this. Is there anything to be afraid of, really, in having 30,000 entities in your mind?
No, you're the host with the most. The only problem
It's all about prioritizing then, isn't it?
Well, it's about you choosing for you. I mean, having that many entities just kept her from making a quick decision. Okay, she worked in a hospital. That's where entities come and go in bodies. So she picks them up.
Yeah, especially as a nurse, I would imagine she's got a lot of human contact that they would make transfer very easily.
Yeah. And some of the other things that I've done is I've cleared schools from entities. I've cleared houses and land of entities that were creating dis-ease for the person living there. So that they were able to, one lady, I think she's in North Carolina, didn't want to even live in a house until, I did I worked with her a couple of sessions, and for the first time she started painting and fixing up the house and actually decorated the house for Christmas, and she's never done that before.
Wow. It's interesting how having that type of thing really can, and that's a really good way of explaining how it stops us from doing a lot of things. It might not be necessarily, oh, I was born to rule the world and, oh, I'm not part of the royal family.
Correct.
It's not that. It's
correct.
I'm not happy in this space. I don't know what to do to dress it up, and getting that out of the way so that you can express yourself in your space.
And be happy living there.
Yeah.
And have the house happy that you're there is the key.
Yeah.
A house is an entity. One of my things that happened to me is I walked out the house one day, and this is years ago before I created the Vibrational Touch, but I would just sense energies. And I turned around, locked the door, and I realized I left my keys on a coffee table. I tried to get in. I tried to move the door, wouldn't move. I used a credit card to try to get in. I couldn't get in. So I walked around the back of the house to see if my daughter left the sliding glass door open, because she lived with me at the time, and it wouldn't budge. As I was coming back around the front of the house, I got this, ask the house. I said, what the hell? Ask the house. I said, okay, house, can you help me get in? I got, yes. I walked up to the door jiggled where before it wouldn't jiggle. Same credit card. I was in the house in 15 seconds.
Wow.
So as I walked out, got my keys, I said, house, don't let anybody else do this. And then I told my daughter about it, and her boyfriend at the time, I guess, didn't believe it. So he stood outside for a half hour trying to break in, and it wouldn't let him in.
Well, I imagine the house knows who belongs there.
That's right. The house, Dorothy is such a contribution to me. Her name's
You named your house Dorothy?
I didn't name her. That's her name.
She named herself, or
that's what I asked her name. What is your name? And I got Dorothy. Okay. I have no judgments around it.
That's a good name for a house with doors, Dorothy. That's a great name for a house.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Now, let's talk a little bit about crisis breathing. A lot of the people that are watching today, hopefully not so many, but we're all concerned with like coronavirus. The anxiety level on the planet is way up there, right?
Yes, it is.
And I know that for myself, I catch myself in it a lot. Maybe other people aren't quite as aware of it as I have been, especially over the last 2 days. I've been noticing it a lot more.
Hmm.
But we tend to drop into this shallow breathing that's
Yes.
anxiety based, that, how much, um, you know, does the trauma of the situation that the entire planet is being faced with now affect our breathing? Is it a direct thing? Is it,
Well, it's direct and it can be changed. The reason being is that okay, every meridian is run by different emotions. Okay, the lung meridian is grief. So a lot of times, if you're grieving over whatever it is, whether it's trauma, drama, death of a loved one, or whatever it is, it starts to restrict your breathing. Trauma and drama, you grieve with that. You start to breathe. It's not that you're not breathing. You're not breathing efficiently is the issue. Okay, and for an example, this is before, I worked on Gary Douglas. I walked up to him one day and I looked at him and said, "You're not breathing right." "Yes, I am." And I looked at him and said, "You fell, didn't you?" He said, "Yeah, I fell off my horse." So I worked on a couple acupressure points in the back, and within minutes, the color had come back to his face. I said, "Well, you can lie to anybody else. You can't lie to me." Okay, and that's one of the things that I tell people. So when you say I don't know, you're lying to yourself and you're trying to lie to somebody else. You're not willing to look at the possibilities. I know the difference. I can sense the energies. So back to the grieving, and again, I believe this is why this coronavirus was designed in China, because if you look at the element theory of acupuncture, you creating trauma and drama, you creating fear, it starts people to restrict their breathing. By restricting your breathing allows the virus to come into your system because you're not breathing efficiently. You're not carrying the oxygen to every part of your body efficiently. So it allows it to come in. So there's little things that we can do as far as acupressure or acupuncture to get everything back in balance so that you breathe efficiently. And that's how it gets into our system. And I believe that's why it was created that way, because it's very subtle. Mm-hmm. And you notice with everybody who has actually died from the virus had some other upper respiratory issues. Right. Because they weren't breathing efficiently, allowed it to come into their system.
Right. That long-lived habit of inefficient breathing puts a person at higher risk.
It does. Okay. And also, one of the crazy things is by not breathing efficiently, you start looking old real fast. Sorry. And that's one of the things I love about the triple elixir reverse aging process that I do.
Tell me about that, because you mentioned that the other day, and it's very much similar to other acupressure techniques that I do, although I do tapping, and you do just light touches. I want everybody to know about this. This is some pretty amazing stuff.
I'm going to ask you a question first.
Sure.
Okay, so how old do I look?
I'd say you look about 57.
No, I'm going on 61.
Nice job. Well done.
I work on myself. I'll give myself a triple elixir session, once or twice a month.
So tell me about it. What is the process? It sounds like something you drink, honestly. It's a potion. It's a youth potion, isn't it? You found the fountain of youth, didn't you?
Yes, I did. It's it's using acupuncture Again, I use a surrogate unless you come to me in person. Again, you're not leaving for a couple hours afterwards, because with the clearings and running the energy of the body and balancing the chakras and bringing that energy up into your face and doing an energetic facelift along with it, it just creates youthful appearance, and your skin will start to tighten. And you might not notice anything right away. It might take a couple of days for it to show up. Okay, I know some people it did not. You didn't see anything in the face because they had other issues going on in the body where the body hijacked the energy and took it to that place.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing is we eliminate all the beliefs that we have about what it is about getting old that we bought from our parents. You know, so it's eliminating the beliefs that create aging. We know that the body recreates itself. You know, cells regenerate in such a fast rate that the reason why that we get old is trauma and drama that we bought. And again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, not breathing efficiently creates it everywhere.
That makes absolute sense, because if you're not breathing efficiently, the oxygen, you're not oxygenating your blood to its capacity. So the
Correct.
furthest reaches that the blood goes to your skin, is what gets starved first.
That's correct. And think about the people, I don't know about you, but I look at people who smoke, and you could see that they smoke in their face and makes them look older than they actually are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And again, smoking restricts your breathing.
Right.
You know, one of the thing with breathing is it's an involuntary body response. Okay, you just do it automatically. It's like blinking your eyes. There's two involuntary body responses: blinking and breathing. Okay, just because it's involuntary doesn't mean it's doing it efficiently. Okay, and it's the trauma and drama, the emotions, the fear, the whatever you dealt with in your life that starts you to slowly not breathe efficiently.
So if I can encapsulate it, right? No, I can't. It just went out of my head. When we're breathing, it's an involuntary process, but it's determined by our state of mind what form or mode that involuntary breathing process takes.
Well, it's
correct?
Sort of. I mean, it's the more trauma and drama you have, because it's involuntary, your body is going to breathe and you're going to get the oxygen just enough to keep you alive.
Okay.
Is what I'm getting at. You're not breathing the deep breaths, or if you breathe in deep, you say, oh, that hurts, or this hurts, or that hurts, or I'm not able to, breathe deeply and efficiently. Okay. And this is what getting back the body in balance so it breathes efficiently is the main target of what I do.
Awesome.
Okay. And when you release that and you start to breathe efficiently, you'll just feel an ease going over your body. Because if you think about it, if you start doing trauma and drama, what happens? You start doing this.
Yeah,
okay, what's this do? It restricts your lungs. Right. So this is causing you to not breathe efficiently too. Yep. The fear. What do you I'm afraid. One of the best things that I love about it is the fact that if you use the hun sound.
The hun sound?
As you breathe in, yes. It's like your lungs just fill up and expand. It takes everything in. It is such a yin response of regenerating the lungs to breathe efficiently is one thing that people can start doing.
Awesome. Yeah,
The crazy thing is, go ahead.
I was going to say that's exceptionally the sound that we hear, like in the movies and TV when somebody's drowned and they've been resuscitated, and the first thing that you hear from the resuscitated body is that
But
sound.
that's right. Okay, it's also the opposite in martial arts. Okay, when you use that sound, what's it do? It makes people think that you're afraid of them, which is the opposite of what it is. Okay, when I'm using that sound to bring that energy in, I'm stealing their energy and bringing it into me, making them weaker.
Interesting. What a concept. I love it. All right, now let's talk a little bit about what our viewers can do. If, and me in particular, going forward, because I've just come through this huge level up, so to speak, from what I thought I was capable of before to what I'm committing to now, right? So,
committing?
What?
Choosing.
Yes, right? So going forward, you know how when you're building a new muscle or a new way of being, there's times when you don't quite hit the mark, right? Or you get pulled back towards the safe, secure little cocoon that
or you have your friends pull you back down because they don't recognize where you're going.
Yeah, exactly. So what can I or what can our audience do going forward that will, when I sense something that's holding me back, how can I move forward despite it, without having to, pick up the phone and ask somebody else to fix me all the time? What do you got?
The interesting part about that is the fact that you have to ask is actually how much of it is really mine. Okay, we're like antennas. We pick things up from everybody around us. I don't know about you, but you can walk into a room or you're with a group of friends or having fun, and then somebody walks in a room that has is just depressed or a nasty attitude, and then within 10 minutes, everybody else, it's like the joy is gone out of the room, and we don't know why.
Right.
Well, that's why, because we bought his energy or their energy, whoever, male or female, doesn't really matter. And we didn't ask, send it back to them. Period. You have to, and that's what I love about the vibrational touch. It opens the door to awareness so that you can know what's yours and what's not yours. Okay. Example, got out of the shower. This happened probably about 6 months ago. Sat down in the bed to get dressed. And I went, God, I just want to kill myself. Who the hell does that belong to? That's not me. And it was gone that fast because I knew it wasn't me. I don't even think that way. So you have to. I mean, example, road rage. You're driving down the road, and all of a sudden you're just, and then all of a sudden somebody does something and you get really pissed off. Okay, is it you, or did you pick it up from somebody else?
Right.
There's a lot of drama going on in the world. The riots, the looting, the killings. It's like, the key is not to let it affect you. Not that I agree with everything.
Right.
Okay? That's what other people are choosing. I'm not choosing that. I'm choosing the other. I'm to the point where all the destruction and stuff, I know it's run by demons and entities because they do not want the entire planet to be conscious, because there is no way in hell they'd be able to stay here.
Right. Well, where would they go?
I don't care. They're not staying here. Right. And they don't like me because of that. some of them are okay, and again, there are entities that are here to be a contribution to us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I've run into some nasty ones. I run into a couple of them that try to kill me.
That sounds like there's a story there.
Well, I was driving home from the studio. It was about midnight, and this back road, I see I don't know, about a 2x2 dark box. It's just like a black box on the side of the road. As I got closer, it came in front of the car, and I'm thinking, oh shit, what the hell's going on here? And then it came up behind me, and I said, okay, are you here to talk to me or somebody else? He says, we're here for you. And I said, what do you desire? He said, we're here to kill you. I don't think so. That was like a Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a lot of clearings in order to get rid of it. And, I guess I didn't get it all because Thursday morning I got up and I felt like I was getting the flu.
Okay.
Went to work. Okay. Friday came around and again, I felt like I'm getting the flu, only I was working. I was very achy. So I still went to work.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday morning, I could barely get out of bed. I got to the couch. I thought, man, if this is the way the rest of my life's going to be, I just might as well shoot myself.
Mm.
Who the hell would that come from? And then because of the things I know, I called a friend of mine and we were able to clear it to where it just dissipated almost instantaneously.
Nice. This is some pretty mind-blowing stuff. It's not easy to just go, yeah, okay, that makes sense. This is stuff that we are so programmed by society growing up and past lives passing down through the DNA that you don't talk about this stuff. You don't know this isn't even real.
It's not taught either.
Right.
That's the key. If my parents had taught me, I wish I'd have known this stuff way back when. Mm. My life would be totally different. I wouldn't have chose a lot of things that I chose to do.
Gotcha.
And it's like, oh well, the key is not to judge yourself about it. So, well, that didn't work out real good. Well, so what can we choose now? And move forward.
Speaking of choosing now, you're offering a very generous gift to any of our audience that wants to reach out to you. A 30-minute mini session for only $30. That's huge.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about exactly what you're offering and how you would like people to reach out to you to get it. Okay.
Well, you can reach out to me through the website or you can text me. The phone number is 240-285-6107. The mini session is basically the tip of the iceberg to where I can get you to where we can relieve some of the trauma and drama to get you to where you're breathing easier and more relaxed and know that there's not there's a way out of it, that you're not stuck. And there's so many people that are in this position where they think that they're not able to choose anything different, that they bought this from their parents, that they're stuck in this, because of lineage or history. And it's not the truth. Anything can be changed. Money, sex, relationships. One of the proudest program I have is How to Save Your Marriage. If you both are willing to choose it, is the important part. Most people get to that one point and they think that, oh, there's nothing I can do about it because I don't want to be with this person anymore. And that's the conclusion. What if it was the way it was when you first got together? And you were taught how to create the relationship. I think the How to Save Your Marriage would be a great gift for newlyweds coming forward, because it would teach them how to create the relationship and they would never end up in divorce.
That's an awesome idea. I love that.
You
Hates
know.
the cookbooks I've been handing out.
Well, that's important too.
There you go. There you
But
go.
there you go. The key for me is you start cooking together,
There you go.
and that can be a lot of fun.
It can. Very much so. All right. Now, do you have just a couple of final thoughts for us before we close up the show for the day and for the week and send everybody into a fantastic weekend?
Oh, the best thing for me is to stop judging yourself. That would be the easiest thing. Be as kind to you are as other people. Do it to yourself, and things will start to change. I don't know about you, but a lot of times before I started doing all this, I judged everything. And that's how I was taught. I don't know if you think about it, judging doesn't really work. No. Okay. The other thing is, what did your parents actually teach you? Think about it. I don't know about you, but they didn't teach me about sex, didn't teach me about relationships, didn't teach me how to handle money, didn't teach me how to do my taxes, they didn't teach me how to create a relationship that would last. So what did I do? I mimicked what I saw that I thought worked or what I didn't work. And if you're mimicking, are you actually running your own life? Or are you choosing their life? You know, that's why a lot of people choose their spouse because they're just like the father, just like the mother, because they're mimicking that and they're not choosing for themselves. Okay, they're not asking the questions. Would this person be a contribution to my life and living? I did it. Didn't work. Fortunately, I was, I'm where I'm at today. And the person that I meet, it's going to be phenomenal, or I'm not going to be with them. You know, that's the key. The other thing I'd like to add, for anybody who mentions this interview, that I will give them 25% off a full session. And the sessions run 90 to 120 minutes. And there's a 30-minute follow-up call that's 24 to 48 hours afterwards to make sure that you are still in a good space and know the difference.
Excellent.
It's very, very important.
That's a heck of a good offer. That is amazing. So, to recap, please reach out to Bill Loudon, Markham Bill Loudon. $30 for a 30-minute mini session, or you can get 25% off on a full session, 90 minutes to 120 minutes. And how best do you want them to reach out to you for that, Bill?
You go to my website, www.markhamloudon.com, and they can click on how to contact me, and there's more information about different sessions and the programs that I have, along with my book is also on the website, The 5 Secrets of the Joy of Touch.
Awesome.
Great book.
I'm going to pick that one up myself. I think that one's going to be very interesting.
It's free shipping in the United States. So if you're in the United States, it's free shipping.
Awesome.
And it's only, I think, $20.
So. Fantastic. All right, cool. Thank you so much once again for being with us here today. And thank you again for the treatment that you provided me 2 days ago. I am still loving it. And I really appreciate what you are doing out there in the world to shift the way that things have been going thus far and create something different for the future. Thank you so much.
I'll catch up with you in a couple more days, probably middle of next week, to see how your body's still doing.
Okay, I appreciate
because you will continue to release things.
Excellent.
For the next, I'm getting a couple of days, 2-3 days. Beautiful. You'll have more ease and movement, more freedom.
Looking forward to it. All right.
Very good.
Everyone,
Thank you.
have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye. When you open your energy work, makes that recovery progress so much faster. That recovery is possible. You do not have to live as a victim until your last days. You have unbelievable strength, and I know that because you're still here. Do you want to create something completely unrecognizable with your life? I can show you how.